Hey everyone, I'm Brett, and welcome to Nightwood Guns. Today we are looking at the Langdon Tactical LTT Beretta 92G Elite. This particular model has the RDO cut from Langdon Tactical and NP3 parts and internals, which in my opinion makes a huge difference. So today we're going to go over the good, the bad, and whether or not this Beretta is worth $2,000. Even if you don't have two G's sitting around to buy yourself a customized model of an outdated pistol, stick along for the ride and find out what makes this the best Beretta ever made. And as per the usual, in the links in the description below, you can find ways to support the channel, one of which is a brand new Patreon. A couple of you have joined up over there already, and I so appreciate your help and support. It really makes a difference in making these videos. I'm also an author. I wrote 2 epic action-packed short novels, so check them out in the link below. They're on Amazon, and leave reviews for them when you're finished. All right, now let's take a look at the gun. First of all, the 2 best things about this gun are its action job with the NP3 coated parts and the RDO cut. First of all, just take a look at this trigger, okay? So here's the single action. Got this take up here, and then we hit the wall, and barely any travel. Absolutely incredible. Let's take a look at the reset. This is the really impressive part. You ready? That's it, right there. This has one of the best tuned triggers I have ever felt on a double action, single action gun. Even the double action is absolutely incredible. It is just running on oiled ball bearings. It is so smooth with absolutely zero creep. This is a double action dream. Now I want to emphasize the NP3 coated parts on this make all the difference. I was able to handle a buddy's Langdon Tactical Elite that did not have the NP3 coated parts, and man, it's just not quite as good as this. This is the pinnacle of Beretta action jobs. I even had a Wilson Combat Beretta at one point, and this thing just puts it to shame. And the NP3 coated parts are just the cherry on top that pushes it over the edge of having the best action job and trigger job of any Beretta. The next big star on this gun is the RDO cut that gets the red dot as low as possible. They actually went in and redesigned the internals of the slide and the firing pin to be able to mount this red dot as low as possible. Now this one came with an RMR footprint, and I will say that when I mounted the RMR on this, it was an absolute co-witness. The SRO is that lower third co-witness that I look for. So I originally was going to put an RMR on this, but once I saw that the iron sights took up like the whole window, that's when I decided to opt for an SRO. But getting a red dot on a Beretta 92 is a huge challenge, and the R&D that went into redesigning the internals to get this thing on there as well as they did is something to be praised and commended. This RDO cut from LTT is what makes this Beretta a competitor in the modern world. This thing also has a custom radius trigger guard that helps you get nice and high up on the grip without just absolutely wrecking your knuckle. And of course, this has the best Beretta safety, the G, which is just a decocker. It springs back up, so that way you don't accidentally put the gun on safe when you cock it, because it'll just spring right back up. Also, the design of the decocker on this is a little angled so that you are less likely when racking the gun to accidentally put it on safe. It can still happen, but it's much more difficult to do. This is an excellent design. All of the parts that you would normally replace on a factory Beretta have been replaced at Langdon Tactical, including the hammer, trigger, safety, even the stainless steel guide rod. And of course, it even has the awesome extended magazine release and the G10 grips. If you're enjoying this video and you like this channel, this is your reminder to hit that subscribe button. That is the #1 way that you can help support this channel. If you're already subscribed, be sure to like the video and leave a comment down below. For today's comment, tell me what your favorite movie is that features the Beretta 92. Now back to the video. So the LTT comes with 3 18-round MechGar magazines, and the NP3 model comes with 3 NP3 coated magazines, which is going to make them more corrosion resistant. And since the NP3 coating is very slippery and high performance, this magazine is going to shoot out of the grip about 1/100th of a second faster than normal. And another cool little detail, this actually features a beveled magazine well. Not like it's a big mag well or anything, but it does help get the magazine in there a little easier. And of course, the super cool front slide serrations, the two-tone with the stainless barrel and the black gun. This is going to be your modern day Samurai Edge. Another detail that I love is it has checkering on the back strap and the front strap of the gun so that it really locks into your hand when you're shooting it. And of course, it's always nice when a modern gun has a rail on it so you can put your weapon light on there. And the barrel has been chopped a little bit and target crowned. I don't know how much of a difference that makes, but it certainly looks cool. So rounding out the positives on this gun, this is a factory Beretta that has been custom tuned. Starting out negatives on this gun, this is a factory Beretta that has been custom tuned. If this were a custom built and custom fit Beretta, it would cost more than $2,000. Now, while the custom work on this gun is completely unrivaled, from the action job and the trigger job to the RDO cut for this thing that is just so innovative for the Beretta design, this is still a factory Beretta that was manufactured in Tennessee. And that's not to say that Italian Berettas have been much better recently. In other words, what I'm saying is everything that's wrong with this gun is not the fault of Langdon Tactical. It's the fault of Beretta. First of all, just from a fit and finish perspective on this $2,000 gun, the barrel is not centered in the slide. So it is sitting in this corner and it's just empty space all around the other corner. This thing is not even close to being centered. Does that affect accuracy or anything? No, I didn't really experience it, but it definitely feels bad, especially when other Berettas that I've had centered barrels. This is probably just me being a little OCD and anal about my guns, but it'd be really cool if it was centered. Next up, also as far as fit and finish goes, let's say you're a collector and you're getting this for your collection. There are just blemishes in the slide. You can maybe see right here in those serrations. Yeah, there you go. That there's just a blemish actually on the metal from the factory that can't even be covered up by this thick finish that Langdon put on there after chopping it for a red dot. Now that does not bother me because this gun is getting a lot of use. I'm running this thing hard. It's going in and out of the holster. So not a huge deal for me, but if you're a collector, something to be aware of. And I've been seeing so many Berettas come from the factory like that recently. And as far as the quality control goes from the Beretta plant in Tennessee, I noticed in the rifling there is a gash in one of the lands. I'm not sure if it's having much of an effect on accuracy at all. It doesn't seem to be, but it's something that definitely shouldn't be there. And also, if you run your finger up and down the exterior of the barrel, you can feel bumps, dings, dents, and what feel like bulges in it just because of the lack of quality control making these barrels. Does it matter as far as reliability goes? No, but you know, it is an attention to detail that it's just kind of a bummer they don't make them like they used to. The other thing on this is once I put about 100 rounds through it, the front sight started to slowly start walking over. And, you know, this is a dovetail cut from Beretta. I don't think Langdon Tactical did this dovetail cut, but clearly there's a bit of a problem there if it's slowly walking out after only like 100 rounds. Now, it stayed put, but it definitely is not completely zeroed anymore. It's close, but not anymore. Now, this is something that I'm gonna have to get fixed because at some point this front sight's gonna go flying and I might have some trouble finding it. So those are just issues that were a problem with the factory Beretta that Langdon Tactical was sent before they tuned it up. Are any of them deal breakers? No, but when you pay $2,000 for a gun, it still feels kind of sucky. Now, I realize that $2,000 is going into one, you know, obviously the factory Beretta that you get, and then all of the R&D and the custom work that Langdon Tactical does. I mean, for the slide cut, they literally had to redesign internals for this thing from the ground up. And not to mention the action job on top of all of the NP3 coating for the parts. I mean, you are getting what you pay for here. It all adds up to that $2,000, but when you're dropping 2 G's for a gun, it feels kind of bad when the front sight starts walking out, even if it's not Langdon Tactical's fault. So a small gripe that I have about this gun is that the G10s that come with it have a lot of horizontal traction, but they have no vertical traction whatsoever, which can cause the gun to slip in your hand a little bit when it's recoiling. It's one of those things where it sticks okay, but I like my grips to be a little stickier than this. There's just a little too much up and down, slipping and sliding for my personal taste. I do think that this makes for a great carry texture if you are someone who is bothered by a rough texture rubbing up against your skin, but I wish I had a little more grip vertically because the horizontal grip is grippy. So who is this gun for? It's a $2,000 Beretta. I would say that if you are looking to compete with a Beretta, this is your gun. If you are a collector and you want the best Beretta ever made, this is your guy. If you want a fun range toy that is just an absolute pleasure to experience, this is it. Do you want a double action, single action gun for concealed carry or everyday carry that is custom tuned for performance and speed? Then it doesn't get better than the LTT Beretta 92G Elite. If you are somebody who has completely maxed out your skill set on a factory Beretta, something like this is going to elevate you to the next level. A lot of people like to say that, you know, gear doesn't make you a better shooter. Just get a factory Beretta for, I don't know, like $700, whatever they're going for nowadays, and then spend, you know, $1,500 on ammunition and training instead. Well, if you're already that person who has spent the money on training and ammunition, and you are at that high skill level, that is when gear comes into play, and something that's tuned like this can give you a slight edge. A skilled shooter will absolutely run the LTT Beretta faster, and it's going to be easier for them to shoot it more accurately and precisely than a factory Beretta. So is it worth the $2,000? All the work that's gone into the gun? Absolutely. But practically speaking, is it worth the $2,000? Well, one, if you're someone who appreciates a fine-tuned handgun that is a dream to shoot, then yes. If you are someone who has that skill set where you've maxed out on a factory gun, but you can squeeze out some more performance out of a finely tuned handgun, then absolutely yes. Nice things cost money, and you really do get what you pay for with the Langdon Tactical Beretta 92G Elite RDO with NP3 parts. I mean, guys, I cannot overstate this enough. This is the pinnacle of the Beretta 92 design. Ernest Langdon has absolutely outdone himself, because it doesn't get any better than this. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video on the Langdon Tactical Beretta. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Brett, and this was Nightwood Guns. Nightwood out.